Hello and welcome everybody to our next webinar. So as you can see, we have a totally new design. I'm very happy that we are in our studio for webinars as well. I hope everybody can see me and also can hear me. And I hope also everybody can see Asger. So like I said, my name is Florian Neuhold and I'm very happy that I can guide you through this webinar today. Today our presenter will be Asger Steffensen, Channel Sales Director and Partner at WorkPoint, and we will talk about product document management for architecture, engineering and construction. First of all, that's very important for me. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to put it in the Q&A. I know it's a little bit different in YouTube, but I think this will work. It's the same procedure. I will take care of them, and after the presentation of Asger, we will answer your questions. So I hope Asger is ready and you want to show us something which makes our life easier, Asger.
Thank you very much, Florian. I hope all can see my screen. I will just introduce with a few.
I think you shared your screen, yes, right now. So we will switch.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect. We are on now, so your screen is shared.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Welcome to this webinar about project document management in WorkPoint 365. I will introduce with a few slides, and then I will promise you there will be a real live demo, a live demo where everything can go wrong. Hopefully it won't, but we'll see about that. First of all, a little bit of background about WorkPoint. I know that from the audience that quite a few of you already know us, so I will keep this short. We are a Danish software company. We have all of our development and everything in-house in Denmark. We are not outsourcing any of our development. We are a Microsoft partner. We have been working closer with Microsoft for years. And we have today been doing WorkPoint product since 2007, so closing in on 15 years. We work with international partners to implement our solutions, which is why that if you're interested in WorkPoint, there will be a partner hopefully near you to talk to. We have customers in a range of industries because WorkPoint is a very flexible, versatile product. We will be looking at specific things. Sorry, we do have certain industry where we're stronger, and what these companies has or customers has in common is typically that they have chosen a Microsoft 365 strategy. They typically have need for a business solution such as project management, like we'll be looking at today. Quite often they're very process heavy and document centric, and work a lot with information and knowledge. So if you're ticking just a few of these boxes, there's a good chance that you can benefit from using WorkPoint. Today's subject, project management and document management in projects. Let's just have a few highlights on what we're talking about. What WorkPoint can bring to the table for you is high level of structure and a standardized way of working. We tend to say that we put the wrap around the Microsoft 365 platform and use the tools in that platform in a good context. We provide you with a central cockpit for your work, for your project and document work, and also the ability to get a complete overview of all progress across the project portfolio and also on the documents. So what we typically help with and actually what the pains that our customers in this area are feeling is lack of control. Project management is all about control. So we provide, as I said, the structure and the working environment for gaining control of your projects. We also take the complexity out of teamwork. We do integrate with the all new Microsoft Teams, what's all new. It's a few years old, but it's really been very important those last couple of years with our pandemic. We integrate strongly with both documents management and project management in Teams. I will give you an example of that. And we also make it possible to find your documents. A lot of our customers come to us because they have trouble finding. They know they have a lot of stuff, but they lack the tools and the organization to structure the documents so they're actually able to search for them and find what they need again. We can help with that as well. Let's go and have a look at a solution and give a demonstration of WorkPoint 365. We will start by entering the project management from the browser interface. WorkPoint have several interfaces. Browser obviously is one of them. We do also have Office, Microsoft Office, Outlook, Word, Excel, and of course, as I mentioned, Teams. But we'll start here and work from there. Now, this solution I'm showing you is an example of one of our standard solutions, more or less out of the box as it is delivered. There's a few tweaks to it, but WorkPoint is made from the building blocks we call business modules, and this solution shows me, this little button here shows me my menu, my access to the various business modules. So this is where I manage in this case, my companies, my customers, the contact person I'm working with, the projects I'm doing for my customers, and the transmittals that these projects has. WorkPoint is, of course, 100% Microsoft-based solution. We, for those who are wondering where is it all stored, it is all stored in the Microsoft tenant in Microsoft SharePoint. That is the backend database. So in case that you at some point wonder what happens if we want to get rid of WorkPoint again, well, the answer is simple, because you simply uninstall the application. You still have your Microsoft platform, you still have all your documents and all your data in your SharePoint. So there's no huge migration project at the end, if that's as it often is seen. But of course, we hope you will stay with WorkPoint for many years, and thankfully the far majority of our customers does. WorkPoint is purely configure solution. It's no code solution. Here we have, I won't go into details, but here we have access to the administration module. This is the place where everything is configured and where the consultants and your administrators go to maintain the solution. But back to the modules, we have, as I said, 4 modules here, and each of them I can see various list views. So I can go to list views of the content of these modules. On the top right, we see buttons, My Tools. They are the buttons typically used to create new content, including new documents. You will notice this will change depending on your context, where you are in the system, because there are different buttons for different purposes. I mentioned earlier search, being able to find stuff. This is the search feature in WorkPoint. It's everywhere. It can always be slide out from the right. You can search in your modules for your elements, or you can search in free text search in documents. So globally in the whole system, everything you do is just typing ahead, and you will see the hits coming on. Quite a few hits here, because it's a very broad term, but I could make different combinations of terms. But I can also say, let's just refine it a bit and say, let's say I only want to see my PDF files, and that helps a bit. And clicking on a document will give me a preview, so I can quickly see, is this what I'm looking for? And if not, I can move on to the next one. So what we have is an easy search. And always accessible. Everything that is being put into WorkPoint in terms of documents and mails and other content is indexed by the search engine. So there's a very good chance that you can find what you're searching for. But a lot of people actually prefer to navigate to what they're looking for, because of the structure of WorkPoint. It's typically easy to do that way. Getting to that, we have here the front page. We have our report put in by Power BI from Microsoft platform. This is an example of where we integrate with the Microsoft product portfolio. So I can pull out reporting based on the data I have in my projects or the documents I have. I have various small widgets, web parts here. I have my tasks. I have a task to ensure a budget. It's assigned to me. This is my demo user. I have a list of my projects, and further down I have a list of companies and documents and other things. This is a front page that can be completely configured to suit your needs, and it's security trimmed. So of course there's full control on what users can see and not see. So you can you can distinguish between user groups and what the rights they have. But let's try and go to down the system. We can go to our project list and let's have a look at my projects. So this is the projects assigned to me, or one where I, as a user, this user Jesper, has been assigned to. So this list could be much bigger. There could be much more metadata. It's all fully configurable. There's principle nothing in WorkPoint that can't be configured differently. As I said, a very flexible system. But I'm looking at here is my list of projects. I can see the project number. I can see who is the customer, what stage is the project in, the project status. This one is not going too well. There are also a few exceeded deadlines here. This one is good, so that's nice. And I can see that there are connected, some of these are connected to teams, so they have a corresponding teams which is being created automatically by WorkPoint. We'll get to that. Going to one of my projects, will then click me on this site. And here I'm now looking at my project site. Project site gives me a lot of information. Again, this can be configured to suit whatever project information you want to have on your in your project solution, but this is the standard setup, so to say. Starting from the top, I will notice that I'm from my company, my customer. I've gone down to my project. So here is my project, and I can see information on my company. I'm sorry, my customer if I want. I could click here to site pages. I would go up to the customer side, to the company side, but I can also go here and see information about my project. As you can see, there are different stages depending on what you're looking at, whether you're looking at a company module or a project module. Apart from the stages, I will get back to those. I can see metadata on the project. So anything I want to report on a project can be displayed here. I can also have access to all the underlying lists. These things are also accessible from out here. So there's several ways to go to that. So underlying transmittals to this project, change log for the project, documents for the project, etc., etc., etc. Naturally, we'll only see a few of these things today, but if you're interested to learn even more, you can always book a session with one of our partners or with the WorkPoint themselves. The stage model is a key component of WorkPoint, and I'm often asked, is this a workflow? And the answer is pretty much no, it's not a workflow. You go up a little higher in this instance. The stage is more of a life cycle. So the stage model is something that can be configured in WorkPoint to any number of stages and any naming of stages. So this is just the standard one, but if you have a different project model, you can have that configured. You can also decide whether you should be able to go from idea to analysis to planning, or whether you should be able to sometimes skip analysis and go to planning. So the business logic there is something you define. It is also possible to put in some supporting processes. So you could, for example, automatically initiate a workflow when you're changing a stage. For example, creating some new documents or some task or sending mails or a number of other things where you use Microsoft Power Automate to have these workflows created. So WorkPoint will simply trigger events happening in the Microsoft platform. Another example could be putting in restrictions, so you're not able to change a stage if something is not correct. And let's have an example here. If we say we want to go to analysis, I can see this is the stage analysis. There are some sub-stages, by the way. And if I say I want to change this to my stage analysis now, the system will start putting up the wizard, but it will be it will be stopping me. Simply, it will be warning me there is a quotation document missing. So there's something I haven't done. Here's an example of where it's a document that's a problem. It could also be other things such as tasks or mails or whatever. But basic bottom line is here, the system tells me you're about to do something wrong. You haven't created the right document. So are you sure you want to continue? Because I'm still allowed to continue this setup. It doesn't prevent me completely. It could do. That's again a matter of setting it up. But this case, I am allowed to continue if I want to, but I don't want to. So we'll just stop here and close the wizard. It also gives me the warning here. So the stage model can structure the whole project flow, and it can also hold a lot of business logic that will help the users do the right thing at the right time. Further down, we have a preview of the document list. The document list is actually over here on the documents and emails, and I have further lists here with tasks, project plan, risks, change logs, status, etc., etc., etc. All of these things are typically populated by clicking the buttons up here to create elements that will then be stored in the right place in WorkPoint. You can see that we have risks. The risk here is populated by the risk list. So whenever I create a risk, it will show up in the risk matrix based on the severity and the probability I registered. I'm not going into risk management here. We can tell more about that in a different setup. You're free to ask questions later on. Again, tasks. Here is my task list showing me that I have 2 tasks not started, 1 in progress, and 1 completed. Of course, there could be many more. It's just examples. But what we really want to talk about here is the documents. It's a document management that we focus on. We tend to look at documents as a fairly broad term, so we also have emails, another type of document, so to say. But you can need some of the same ways of working with documents and emails. Clicking on my document list give me the full document list of this project. I will notice a number of metadata. I will notice that we have a folder structure and some individual documents. Now, the folder structure can also be predefined. If you have a preferred folder structure you want to work with, you can have that created automatically by the system. You can also combine that, of course, with metadata. Personally, I'm a big fan of metadata, but I also know from experience that many users are kind of used to folders and like to hang on to that. From a system perspective, there can be some value in having metadata added as well. But thankfully, WorkPoint allows you to combine the 2 things, so you can actually work with metadata and harvest the benefits of using metadata without scaring the users away by removing the folders. The way WorkPoint and manage document metadata, there are several. You can have a full taxonomy of metadata and metadata structure where you manually add metadata when you add a document, which is one way. It can work, but the problem with that is that then users are getting a form where they need to type in metadata when they file a document. Another thing could be, as we do it, we have first of all, we have some auto-generated metadata you can set up, like this document ID is generated by the system and added to the document. You can also inherit metadata down to the document list. So from a WorkPoint perspective, you can have anything that you have recorded on the document of metadata can be automatically added to the document list if you set that up. So you can automate the addition of metadata to your documents quite easily. As you can see, there's also versioning. This is something that SharePoint provides out of the box, so we've merely just taken that on and say, yes, we certainly want to utilize that document feature of. So I'm not going to talk more about that. It's a standard SharePoint thing to have versioning, but we of course use that as well. What we have added to this about managing document is the ability to have a central located templates in WorkPoint. Whenever there's a WorkPoint solution, you will have a central template library. The template library is accessible for users with the right access, or the super users that should maintain those template library. So that means that the super users will populate the system with the right templates to be used on projects and customers and whatever. And for me, as a normal user, when I want to create a document, there's only simply clicking the new document button. Now, when I do that, I will be presented with a wizard. In this case, we're just picking a single document, but you could also have document sets. So you could manage several documents in one go. Say, for example, a contract with a number of exhibits. This is a classic example where you have multiple documents that you want to manage as a whole. In this case, we'll just do a report 9/3/22, and you will give your document a name. You will choose where do you want to store it. We only have one document library here in this project solution, but you could have multiple document libraries, so you would then pick where to store it. The folder structure, yes, you can put it in a folder. Let's say we want to just put it into the project management folder. Okay with that. And then we have changed that. And then I will pick my template. Picking my template will now load me not all the templates of the system, but the templates only relevant for where I'm working. The system knows I'm working in a project, so it will give me only project relevant templates. I could have many more templates in here, which you would see in other contexts. So again, a situation where the system helps the user by giving him only what he needs at this point in time. So clicking on one of my templates will show me a preview, fairly basic one. Well, let's say, well, that was not what I'm after, so I'll click the other one. And I'll see another preview here, and there we have actually a better one. That's the one I was after. You will notice there are some tags in this template because the template has been set up ready for mail merge. So what it does is it takes data from the system and merged into the document, meaning that when I'm happy with this is the document template I want to use. I will save and edit my my document. Now the document is being created. It will now save the first version of the document, and let's go and have a look when this closes to the project management. Here we already have the first version of the document, version 1.0, and you can see it's got a newly created document ID. The document is opening behind here on my Word. So here is my Word document, and you can see it's been pre-populated with information from the system, and I can keep working on this document, and eventually when I'm happy with it, I can save it, and it will be in my document list here in the next version. So whenever I save a document, there will be a change of the versioning. Now from here on, I can continue working with my document in various ways. And I'll just give you a few examples because there are quite a lot of options here. But if I'm clicking on my document, I can say there is no review put on here. But if I say I have a need for having this reviewed by my boss, I would add my boss's role or name as this in this field. And then I can say I want to send off this document for review. The send to button here is a WordPoint thing where we have configured multiple different actions. One of them, of course, is send for approval. Clicking that button will send a workflow going and will send a notification either by Teams or email to the person I have put in as a reviewer. That being said, it could happen automatically if you have that process already in place. You can also do other things, create a PDF, zip files, combine PDFs, send the project to another, send the document to another project, or send it to a transmittal. Just for the fun of it, let's try and see if we can send it to another project. So clicking that will start another wizard. Now it will tell me, all right, so you want to, first of all, you want to find a project, the project you want to send it for. Let's just do a full search. Here's all of my projects. Let's say we put it to our advanced anvil development project. I could create a brand new project if I wanted to as well, but in this case I just want to say yes, this is what I want to do, select and continue. Now I have the option of choosing a few more things. Where do I want to store it? Yes, I want to store it in the document. This is the one I've chosen. What do I want to copy it as? A copy, I can probably choose either to copy it as a copy or a link. So instead of that, this one is actually, if I had multiple documents, I could change all of the settings for each of them. I only have one, so I could just as well have clicked here. Copying it as a link, and I can choose here to say if there is already this one has already been created in that other project, I want to add a new version. Now, as I'm doing it as a link, doesn't really matter. So saving this is now creating the job, and the system sends me straight to my other project, Advanced Annual Development, and you can see here now we have sent to another project. And you can also notice that there is the icon indicates that this is not a Word. This is a Word icon. This is a SharePoint icon. So that tells me this is actually a link, not a copy of the document. Jumping back. Another thing we can do with our documents is adding them to transmittals. A transmittal in this context is the ability to take one or more document and add them to a specific other place where you can store them and remove all access. The idea here is that in some projects you need to deliver transmittals as part of your delivery, documenting where you are at a certain point in time. That means that you have requirements in your contract or similar to deliver stuff at a specific point in time, and this stuff must be held so it can't be changed. So if we want to do that, we will choose again documents here, for example, and say, let's send this documents to a transmittal. So a similar wizard will happen, but now we're looking at a transmittal. So finding all our transmittals, there are heaps of them, or I could simply say, I want to create a new one, and let's do that. So here I create a new transmittal first, and I'll say, this is going to be a stone wheel transmittal. Oops. I can add multiple other things, but the only name is, in this case, is mandatory. So I'll skip the rest, thinking of time. Saving, and now we're doing multiple things. We're creating the transmittal site, setting up the whole transmittal under this project. And while it's doing this, it is going to, all right, there we go. And now we have the ability to say, again, our two documents, what do we want to do with them? We want to store them in the transmittal package. The other one would allow me to send them as emails. I want to copy them as either a copy or a link. Let's say we both want to do copies. And now we're ready with that. And then we will send this off. There are more options here. I could also have specific versions sent to the transmittal, a number of other things, just so you know. So now, again, we will send on these documents, and we have the transmittal created already. So here's our brand new transmittal, and with our two documents. As you can see, we're under the first customer. We went under the project, and now we have created the transmittal under the stone wheel prototype. So looking at this, we have transmittal with a set of stages. The way the transmittals work is that the first step you do is collecting the document for the transmittal, and then you get check the package is ready, and when it's ready, you can ship it, and shipping it also will remove any access right apart from reading, so that can't be changed anymore. What it also can do is that it can create a nice formatted cover page with the content, because a transmittal can hold many documents. So a nice table of content with what documents is actually in here, and what are they, what version are they in, and so on and so forth. And that is a feature that is not just for transmittal. That can be done anywhere. WorkPoint, where you want to say, I want to create an index for a set of documents. You can have your wizard set up to create exactly that. Now, jumping back to my project, we have here my project again. Now, this is working all through the all through the browser interface. Let me just quickly introduce you to the other way of working, which would be in WorkPoint Express, where we have our Office plugin showing me exactly the same solution as I had before. So searching for a customer, we have here my customer. I have 4 projects with this customer. So let's just give a little more space here. And I have my stone wheel prototype project. And here we have the documents. We did create the document in the project management. So this would be the project report I just created. Now, it may be that I have received information via an email. So in this case, I can drag and drop the entire email to my email list, or I can simply say, no, I'm only interested in the contract. I want to put that into my contract list. I can see this already there. So what happens when I grab another one? The system will notice that this is a new version of the contract. So what do I want to do with this? Do I want to add another version, or was it a mistake, or do we want to rename it? Let's just add a new version. It ties into the same version control. So here we have another way of managing documents coming into the solution. You could also say, now I have created this nice document. I could have created my whole document from in here as well. I have the same interface, creating a document from a template, do the same thing as I did in the browser. Pretty much everything you can do in the browser, you can do in here, even changing stage and things. But if I go to my project report, say this is actually something I want to ship off by mail, I will open a new mail. I will open my WorkPoint Express in the mail. And it already defaults to where I stand, so I can simply just say, either I can just drag and drop, or I could right click and insert this as a link to the document, or I can attach it as a PDF, which is now generating a PDF. And either way, I can very quickly send off my document. Now, when I created that document based on a template, I could have done the same thing if I wanted to send it as an email. I could create the document as an email based on the template. So I could use the template for a document or for an email. But either way, I'm now ready to ship off my document to the recipient. That was a few hints on the WorkPoint Express. There are quite a few more things. You can do the search, you can do favorites, you can do everything from in here as well. And WorkPoint Express is actually available both in Outlook, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, but you also have a free floating version just as a desktop application, which can be useful for those who prefer to work without having the disturbance from incoming emails all the time. Finally, let's just jump to our browser again, because in here I have a Teams link, as it's very visible here that this solution is connected to Teams. In WorkPoint terms, Teams collaboration is something that needs to be a little bit controlled, because as you may already know, you can create teams everywhere and everybody does it if you're not careful. And that means that you will have a very, very blurred picture of creating and working with teams and documents, and nobody can find anything. The WorkPoint approach is that if you have a WorkPoint solution, you can choose whether you want to have a Teams connected to it or not. And the Teams can be connected to any given time. It can be created from the beginning when you create the project. It could be that you had a specific stage where you wanted it created, or you could have it done manually simply by a button, or a number of other options. But since I have it already, I will just click on my Teams. I will use the web Teams application. It's the same user look and feel. And now my Teams is loading. I am now in my stone wheel prototype team. And it looks pretty much like any team. There's not a lot of traffic here, a demo, but I can go and say, I have a few more tabs here. So my home tab will show me my WorkPoint as I had it in my browser. So completely the same experience I can do the same things. So it's up to me as a user to say, do I want to work through the browser? Do I want to work with Teams? Do I want to work in the Office applications? And what is about to be released is that the ability to journalize your chats from Teams into a project, just like I did with an email. I can't share that; it's not live yet, but it's coming. So here I can work, or I can also have a subset of my information on the project shown as, like, I have a journal here of all the incoming mails and documents, or I have a task over, which is pretty much the same as here. If I want to add more information or more tabs, I can do just like you're used to with Teams. You can customize, but here you have also the ability to add specific work point items. Good. Finally, I have the ability to create, when I have a work point solution, I have the ability to create Teams apps based on my work point. So if you, instead of having it working this way, you want to have your entire solution as a Teams application, that is also a possibility. And that's something you can do with the tools supplied with WorkPoint. So it's not something that requires any coding or anything. It's simply just a configuration thing that, if I say I want to create a project solution based on my project management WorkPoint, I can say I create my Teams application. I can add it to my Teams. This is just another way of working with Teams in. So here I have again my project report, companies I work with, projects I work with. In this case, I have my project list here, and I can have a look at that. You will notice that different projects with a different solution, and you can also go and create a project. You can access the whole project portfolio. In this case, this has been it's been organized by the type of the project. So if you say it's a construction project, I will click on the construction, and the list will be filtered based on that. And finally, you can also go and have a look at the document search feature. Here we have document search based on metadata. So again, we have the ability to create, access document based on the category. I can, of course, always do a free text search, which will limit this list to something, but there are like 5 pages here, and this is just a demo solution. So there could be thousands of documents, literally. But if they're properly tagged, I can say I only want to see those that are actually contracts, and that limits us to quite a little bit. So that's another way of accessing your documents. I think that pretty much concludes what I had to show you. Just jumping back to my slide here, because there are further resources on our website, workpoint365.com. There are customer reference cases. Some of them are videos, short videos, 5-10 minutes, where you can see what our customers have gained. Some of them are written, and you can, of course, always follow us on LinkedIn and YouTube. I think, Florian, this was all from me. So if you are happy to conclude this,
yes.
I'm all yours.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Asger. It was a very interesting introduction and a very interesting presentation of you. So thank you very much for your time. Like you said before, I will give the audience a little bit more time, maybe to ask something. So I highly recommend, of course, the YouTube channel, the WorkPoint 365 Explore. Like Asger said, you have a lot of small videos and also larger interviews on it. Also, our social media channels. You can find us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, of course. And what is also very interesting for me is you go on the website and you can see our next webinars. So just check it out, and maybe you find something, or I'm pretty sure you find something which is interesting for you, and you can join us again in the next time. So Asger, as I can see here, we have no questions because your presentation was that brilliant. So I'm very happy.
Must be it, I'm sure.
So I'm very happy, and I just will say, I think we will close this down. This webinar will be also on YouTube afterwards, so if you missed it, then you can also find it again on YouTube. So this is very, very nice. You can also go back and maybe see what Asger showed in very detailed. Thank you very much, Asger, for presenting, and I'm looking forward to have you again in the next webinar as well. For all of you, have a nice day, and thank you and bye.